watching or listening to Blood Moon Milk, the astrology show that comes out every new moon and full moon to help guide you on your mindfulness, meditation, and manifestation journey. And today I have a really special guest. His name is Zack Keim. He's a musician, and I can't wait for you all to get to know him and to learn more about him and talk astrology with him and music and Europe and travels. But first, I just have a couple quick little housekeeping notes for my listeners. The astrology episodes, that I usually do, are going to be YouTube lives for now. And they are kind of stuck on my YouTube channel at the moment. So if you're looking for that info, head over to YouTube and look for Blood Moon Milk Astrology. It's all there and free. And the podcast episodes that I'm recording with guests like this will be out in the usual places. Just for the time being, it's like this. I'm going through a technical transition, trying some new stuff out, so bear with me while I work out those kinks. All right, now let's talk to Zack. How you doing?
Doing good. I just got back from Colorado, and been playing a couple shows. I met you in Atlanta, obviously.
Yep.
Um, and I was in Europe recently and heading out to California next month. Yeah,
Awesome. You're super
trying to stay
busy.
busy, you know.
That's great. So, I think this would probably be a good place to play one of your songs when I edit this. But what would you say is like, describe your music for our listeners who haven't had a chance to hear you just yet?
Sure. It's like singer-songwriter vibe-esque stuff with like sort of a has kind of like a retro sort of vibe to it, I think. Like 60s vibe, but also like sort of indie. Um, I think that's my perspective. I mean, you saw me play live, so you probably have a better idea.
Yeah, no. So I did get to see you play live. It was sort of a serendipitous, impromptu, unplanned show that I just sort of ended up at. But I was happy that I did because it was really intimate. There was a sort of a small audience, but it meant that you really got to see and hear everything. And I think the listeners of my show know how into music I am, and the show actually started out as a music and astrology show. And the technology and algorithms have changed so much that it kind of kills me that I can't do the same show format, or I basically automatically get kicked off of all the platforms because of copyright stuff. But having a musician on the show kind of gives me an excuse to play music again. So, and also kind of get you in front of people who might not have heard you yet. But your music is really poetic and sort of soft, in a lovely, like not as soft in like a wimpy way, but soft in sort of a reflective, um, like moody without being negative. Like it's like in touch with your emotions and nostalgic. And it's definitely a good vibe. And you have a stage presence as well. Um, you are as soft as your lyrics are, you command the audience and whoever you're playing with. Like you're in charge of what people are seeing and hearing when they watch you, which is impressive. Like you definitely have that energy on your side. Hey everybody, I just wanted to stop the interview here so you could listen to the song Battery Lane by our guest Zack Keim. Enjoy.
Travel on road, fear that I once showed. Bright skies, they conspire a dream. What a beautiful life this could be if you just let it go. Travel the long road,
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Yeah, I just like to have fun, have just like the write good music and have fun, I guess. No.
Yeah, I mean, so tell me and our listeners a little bit about how you started your musical journey. Like, were you just always writing, always playing, like from a young age, or was it something that came to you a little bit later?
Sure. My father was a really big music fan who passed 2 years ago. I guess it's already been 2 years. But I got exposed to music at an early age, just going to concerts all the time, like growing up and stuff. Um, just having a dad who's a really big music fan, going to tons of concerts, and I think that just kind of inspired me to later in life pick up a guitar and start playing music and forming bands, and like high school and then eventually in high school, I was like 16. I got signed to a label that like did like the White Stripes' first two records. Like we worked with engineer in Detroit, and we that label was Get Hip Records out of Pittsburgh. And then I worked on a folk record. I worked for a record label for a while, and then yeah, I moved to Washington D.C. and fell in love, and was in a relationship for a while, and then started my own journey. Eventually, that relationship ended, and then I worked on a record, and that record's called Battery Lane, which is out now. And then I moved back to Pittsburgh, and then I finished like I worked on a lot of songs in DC, and then moved back home, recorded them with some friends and people I trust here in Pittsburgh. And then it's out now, and
Yeah,
I'm trying to get it out as much as possible and tour and stuff.
awesome. Yeah, you spent quite some time. You were in Spain for a little while, right? Like doing that tour circuit. Um, what is it? What's the difference between European audiences, you think, and American audiences right now?
Uh, that's a good question. I think after playing Spain for like the third or fourth time now it's been, I think that there really is no difference. I feel like there's like maybe this people romanticize, especially like musicians in the States. Oh, I'm gonna go to Europe. It's just be so glamorous and different. It's the same. I think both the United States and Europe. I mean, I've been having good shows in both countries, regions. But Spain and the United States. At first, I think for an up and coming artist, I think sure the hospitality maybe is a little bit better, like as far as like promoters caring. But I think it's the same in the States. I think that just the budgets are thinner. I don't know. I don't know what the reason why is, but I think that I guess you can sort of romanticize Spain a little bit. There's tapas and wine and cool things to do, and but yeah, nothing crazy. I don't know.
I'm getting ready to go to Spain. I'll be in Madrid for a week.
Well, I'll just send you some suggestions of stuff to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I've kind of got nothing on my to-do list so far other than seeing friends who are there. And I've got a friend from uni who lives in Madrid, and then my best girlfriend from uni from England is meeting me there. So we kind of get to have a bit of a reunion for a couple of days, and then I'm on my own, just kind of exploring what Madrid has to offer for a few days before I come back to the States in July. But so to kind of wrap in astrology to all of this,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
my sun, as my listeners know, like where my sun sign is in Sagittarius. at 5 degrees, and travel is really, really important to me. I think that traveling is probably one of the best investments that you can make in yourself, because the things that you learn and experience while you're traveling are things you can't learn in any other way. And you get to see people from different communities, different backgrounds, living their lives. And then it opens your eyes, I think, to how we're actually all more or less more similar than we are different. And I think that that is one of the hardest lessons for people to learn in America. Like, because our country is so big that many Americans don't actually get to leave the country very often. And then
Sure,
when,
that's like yeah, it's like people in there's people in like Pennsylvania are like going to Europe. That seems like going to like a different planet, you know?
yeah, yeah, and Pennsylvania is a big state, so there's a lot of variety in terms of like geographic uh area, like where you can go, like just within the borders of that state. Like, Amish country is really different from Philadelphia and
Yeah,
Pittsburgh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
but I like, and if you're happy with that, that there's nothing wrong with being happy with where you're from. But I think that just traveling and being open to new experiences is a really, really important um part of anybody's life, especially if you really want to like grab life, and live it and not just kind of muddle through and exist through it. Um, and I think that's what art is all about. And so, what would you say as an artist and as a musician has been like one of the most eye-opening places you've been to while you've been on the road performing?
I think places, but I think something maybe I don't know if this can relate to astrology or not, but I think that's something that's really inspiring is just like being over in Spain and just like seeing people like sing my songs. It's like crazy. It's like, whoa, how did you hear this? You know, that's cool. So that's been cool and like just with social media, just like meeting people like from around the world, like people in like Brazil who listen to my music or like England or like Spain. That's really moving and touching. Um, but out of touring, like a special place that I think that I like a lot, tough question. I think that yeah, sure, Spain, maybe Spain. There's this region in Spain called what is it called? I can't swear on this, can
Yeah, you
I?
can. It's fine.
Okay, I don't have to. Well, I think I dodged that. But where the heck? Oh, Sopelana, Spain. It's like northern Spain, and it's a really cool like beach country, and that's super cool. We play this venue there, and it's like super cool, like winery sort of beach town vibe. And that was a cool place. I think that I've probably my favorite place to play in Spain. I don't know. I like California a lot. I think that like San Diego's been fun to play there, and I'm going out there coming up next month, and I'm excited to go explore like Long Beach and stuff. I've never been out that way.
Have you been to California before at all, or?
Yeah, I played LA before in San Diego, but
Okay.
I'm playing Long Beach on this tour that I've not played yet.
Yeah. I think I've been to Long Beach for like a day trip before, like when I visited LA in the past, but
Yeah,
never like not for long, just like a day. It's cool. It I think for me growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s, it's hard to think about Long Beach and not think of the band Sublime. Uh,
yeah, sure,
you
sure,
know,
yeah.
like it's kind of the hometown heroes, if you will. So I mean, play a Sublime cover or not.
That is a good, yeah, I might have to do that. I've been starting to like play random covers on the road. I didn't do that really. Oh, I did do that in Atlanta actually. I think I did play
Which
Did
one did
think
you who did you play? I don't remember
I played
every.
Earth. I think I played Earth Angel.
Mm-hmm.
And I played a Velvet Underground song.
Yep, I do remember the Velvet Underground song.
Yeah,
Now that you mention it, yeah.
yeah. But I've been starting to do just like random covers. It's been fun. I just played in Denver, and I played at a venue, and this really rowdy guy just walked in. You know, those type of people. And he walked in. He just walked in, and I was like, come up on stage, start playing tambourine, and yeah, it was fun. We covered like Brown Eyed Girl and stuff. It was fun. That was cool. But
So, circling back to astrology, have you ever looked at your astrology chart or have any idea about?
yes, I'm. It's kind of funny that I accepted a podcast on astrology, but I'm open to learning more about astrology, and I know I'm an Aquarius,
Mhm, mhm.
which I definitely think that I am Aquarius. And I sent. I do have a coast. Was it CoStar or?
Yeah, that's an app. So I have your
But
astrology chart pulled up if you want me to
okay,
share the screen with you. We can
yeah,
talk about it a little bit.
yeah. You're the expert, so
Okay.
go ahead.
And I think this will just be fun for listener watchers too, like people who know me or have had sessions with me, and people who haven't necessarily, to kind of just see what
Whoa,
we're
look
talking
at that.
about. Yeah. Okay, I'm just making it a little bit bigger. So you can see the screen that I'm sharing. People who are watching online will be able to see what I'm sharing. And if you're just listening, you can head over to the website, bloodmoonmilk.com, and I'll just post a screenshot of your chart so people can kind of follow along and understand what we're talking about. Um, so your sun is down here in Aquarius at 7 degrees Aquarius. And Aquarius is ruled by the planet Uranus. And Uranus is basically conjunct your sun. Your sun's here at 7 degrees. Uranus is here at 4 degrees Aquarius, right on top of your Eros. Now, Eros is an asteroid. And it has to do with eroticism and passion and love. So it's funny to me when I see like the planet of love or asteroid of love and passion is right on top of your ruling planet, basically. And when we were talking about your artist, like your music and how you like would describe yourself, I think that the word that I used was poetic, and I think that is sort of a signature of this particular planetary alignment. Um, you also have, so you have a stellium in Aquarius. You definitely got to have a lot of Aquarian energy going on. But you also have a stellium in Capricorn, which makes you incredibly diligent and hardworking and consistent. Um, and your this stellium in Aquarius is in your third house, the house of communication and the house ruled by the voice. So it's almost like based on this chart, I would look at this and say this person is somebody who is born to communicate, born to speak, and born to tell stories in one way or another. Um, and then you've got Venus, Neptune, basically conjunct in that third house as well. Venus, I think we all kind of know who Venus is in terms of she's the goddess of love. If you've ever read any Greek mythology or at all familiar with that, she's love, passion, abundance, but also beauty. And Neptune in astrology is thought of as all things Venus, but sort of magnified to the next level, like to the 10th degree, sort of. So to have those two in the same sign, almost conjunct, it's like a double dose of that sort of feminine, softer energy, but it's in the sign of Capricorn. So it's sort of being used for a purpose. And being and like you're a working artist too. So that's kind of, it's just cool to see it, in somebody's chart. And to sort of understand um the the ways that these planets can kind of portray themselves over time through a personality and be expressed. The other thing I see in your chart right now is you're coming up on your Saturn return. You were born way back. in 1997. And Saturn return is one of the, and I don't want to, don't get scared, don't get nervous or anxious when I say this, but it's one of those transits that people hear about, usually because shit hits the fan in their life and they're like, what is happening? But
Mm-hmm.
it hasn't happened yet for you, but it's getting close, but it won't happen and be exact until next year. So between now and next, I think I did the math for it, March 12th, next year, 2026, you'll be in the middle of your Saturn return, um, which is usually like a big wake up call, and life tends to get really difficult. Um, and things that used to work or kind of work sort of fall apart, and we're forced to sort of reconcile some maybe bad habits or things that just aren't working, let go of things to make room for new, bigger responsibilities, but also gifts that come in when you sort of take accountability for yourself and your responsibilities. Um, each of the planets kind of have a personality, and Saturn's personality is sort of that as the stern taskmaster and father figure, the authoritarian of the zodiac. And so he's kind of the father figure that's like, eat your vegetables. Not because he wants to punish you, you know, but like because he wants you to grow up to be strong and healthy. So as there may be difficulties that pop up, not so much yet, but it'll get closer, like more and more intense towards like November, December, January, February, moving into March. But you might be starting to get like a little hint of what it is now, because we've got Saturn at 1 degree of Aries now. But he's getting ready to go retrograde, which astrology people will know. Retrograde is when a planet looks like it's going backwards in our sky. Um, and it all the planets do it. The sun never does it, but everything else moves retrograde at some point. Um, and it's and Saturn moves retrograde every year for about 6 months, so it's not unusual, but it's like gonna kind of start to turn up the heat for you a little bit and then back off. And then come November, December, January, things like you'll feel that the weight of Saturn kind of on your shoulders. So I'm wondering if you kind of feel maybe a hint of it now in some way.
Sorry, I was taking notes as you were talking.
It's okay.
I got on my
I'll send
laptop
you
and I
a link.
started.
You can
No,
watch
I
back.
just wanted to. I feel like I'm being educated on all this stuff. Um, Saturn return. Yeah, I feel like that sort of. There have been things in my life recently that that I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just getting older in life, I guess. But I'm
Yeah.
starting to realize other things, and yeah,
Well, we're all getting older if we're lucky.
yeah, yes. But yeah, I just like music's my life now. It's just like turning into it's just it's like a business now, which is kind of crazy, which is kind of interesting. But it's I mean, I loved doing it and everything, but it's like now it's like I'm doing it all the time, which is what I've always wanted to do. So, I'm happy.
Yeah. I mean, I think that so I'm a professional creative and have been my whole career, whether it was I was working in animation before I was in television. And astrology has always been my hobby. But like looking back at my life and my career, I can say like I've never had a like what I would call a like a grown-up job, even if my jobs were, you know, had a
Sure. Yeah.
pressure or stress. Um,
Yeah.
like and I've worked for major companies that everybody's heard of and stuff like that, but I've always felt like I was getting away with something because I was creative in some way. But
Hmm.
I I think that other creatives will get this, but like maybe folks who are in more sort of objectively like sales oriented jobs or engineering, like or the STEM fields, may not understand like about like when you are successful enough at your creative career and then it becomes a business, it can really be difficult to find the balance of being creative versus being in business.
Sure. Yeah, I feel that in a way.
Yeah. I mean, so how do you like reconcile the creative urge to write something and make something just for yourself versus making something maybe that you know will make your audience happy? Is there ever like a divergence there, or is it always is kind of the same? Like just try.
I just always try to write like the majority of my songwriting is like I write on my cell phone. Not like with that being said, like I use voice memos and I just like I we always carry our phones around with us. So like I just like record stupid ideas in my phone and then eventually those I like look back like 2 months later, I'm like, oh, that's like could be the song Canyon, or that could be like the song Battery Lane. Like those were just all like random voice demos that I've had. And then I just like kind of like build up these voice memos and then I look back or in the moment I start to like try to turn them into something. So as far I don't really think about it. I mean, I don't really think about it as an album at first. I just think about it as recording my thoughts because I'm the type of songwriter who likes to I'm very much I very like I write the like to write melodies, so like I like to write like stuff on like piano or guitar, just like random voice demos, and then I'll start to like build the lyrics, but I'll also like jot out lyrics as I speak out loud. That's how I kind of write, and then I kind of like sit down later on and like write a song.
So,
So it's sort of fun for me to just like it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel tedious when it's like that. I can just like go on my phone and just like, hey, I'm driving my car. Let me just like da 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 just like hum something,
mhm.
and then it could become something, or it could just sit there and not become something. But sometimes, hopefully, it does become something.
Have you ever heard the story about how Keith Richards wrote Can't Get No Satisfaction? How he wrote it in his sleep?
No, I never heard that one. I've heard the Beatles one of like Paul McCartney with Yesterday, which is like the scrambled eggs. Uh, but go ahead with the Keith Richards one. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well,
What
I
were you
want to
saying?
hear that story, but because I haven't heard that one, but
Oh, that's it's just Paul McCartney. Like he like again like Paul McCartney. Like I feel like I get that inspiration from Paul McCartney because like I'm a pretty big Beatles fan. I actually got to see him in Madrid like last year. Or wait, sorry, last year in December of 2024. But how he writes is he'll just like hum melodies and stuff and like jot it down or like record them. But he like or Yesterday, which is like a
yeah.
huge song and like you can hear it in an elevator like anywhere. But like it was just like scrambled eggs, oh my baby, how I love your legs or something. It was just like so random. It was called scrambled eggs and then he went back and then changed it to yesterday.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, that's pretty good. Keith Richards, I guess he like passed out with his tape recorder running and fell asleep and like in his sleep sort of made the noise and then it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that like guitar riff like I can't get no,
Really.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's I think you gotta like grab inspiration whenever.
Yeah, and it's hard to do that also when you're trying to have like a life balance, it's just like
Yeah.
you're not just gonna like, you know,
Well, that's
be
the thing. Like
be there with your partner and just like have your phone on like recording your sleep noises, it's just like
it is that's the thing about being creative. Like that
yeah,
is wonderful, but also sort of terrible is like it's not something you can turn on and off. Like
sure.
it's always on, at least for
Yeah.
me. Like and it like if I write a lot and like I've written books that haven't been published yet. Um but like I'll get an idea for something or a story and I'm like, well, I gotta get out of bed and write that down because if you don't if you don't acknowledge the muse in the moment, I kind of feel like that idea is going to go find another conduit, like somebody else to get sort of birthed into the world through, whether it's
Yeah.
a song or a concept or something. But I think they're sort of like conscious little thought bubbles out there looking for people who want to be sources for it.
Yeah, you don't want to lose those thoughts because then you'll be like, fuck, why did I lose that? Like, it's like, damn it. It's like, I gotta get back. I should have wrote that down at that time or like jotted that down.
And I regret the things I didn't do more than the things I did do. And I've done a lot of dumb shit. So,
Yeah, I think we've all done dumb shit, so it's okay. But
yeah. Um, so I'm gonna keep looking at your astrology. Do you have any questions about astrology? Like, because
no, I just find this very fascinating. I'm just like, I'm looking at this chart. I never have done this before. I never
yeah.
like looked at a chart like this.
So we'll start with the basics. A lot of times people who are interested in astrology will be like, "Oh, what are your big three?" And the big three, it's your sun sign, it's your moon sign, and then your rising sign. So your sun sign, as we mentioned earlier, is at 7 degrees Aquarius, and then your moon is at 16 degrees of Virgo in your 10th house. The moon is who we like. Most people kind of understand what their sun sign is a little bit. They've read about it, or at least sort of kind of know the broad strokes, maybe. Um, so this I'll start with the sun sign. The sun in Aquarius is represented by the water bearer. Um, and it's one of the few signs most associated with beauty. Um, Ganymede was a mortal in Greek mythology, and Jupiter or Zeus was so taken with him that he's like, I want that guy to be my personal cupbearer. And so he like plucked him off of the face of the earth, brought him up to Mount Olympus, and was like, "You're pretty, pour my drinks." And he was sort of like this inspiration for beauty and exceptionality, but it's also really erratic, unpredictable energy, especially with Uranus so close to your sun. I wouldn't be surprised if you have these periods of like vacillation just in your energy levels, like feeling like you can, you're on and then just kind of crashing and then sort of coming like going between those two sort of polarities to some extent wouldn't be surprising.
Mhm.
But the moon in Virgo is our emotional inner world, like and how we feel on the inside. Um, and it's practicality. It's like what makes sense, it's not necessarily flashy, but it's wants to be of service. It likes to be stable. It likes to be predictable and have some sort of routine, which can kind of feel somewhat at odds with that sun in Aquarius that sort of bounces all over the place, and likes to be a little bit chaotic by nature. Um, but they're both, I mean, well, your Aquarius is a what we call a fixed sign, which means that even though it's very erratic, it's stable in its erratic tendencies. Um,
Correct.
the moon in Virgo's a mutable sign, and we also have this thing going on right now. We have the lunar nodes. They have to do with eclipses. And the south node is in Virgo right now. The north node is in Pisces. It's like an axis. And it sort of like goes backwards in the sky. And it takes about 18 years for those lunar nodes to make a complete cycle. And throughout that course of those 18 years, there will be eclipses on those lunar node points throughout the year. So we're in the season of the Virgo Pisces polar eclipses. So we had some eclipse, the first one in Pisces was back in March of this year. And then when we get to Virgo season, we'll have some more eclipses. So you could be having, oh, let me see where the next eclipse is going to be because your moon is at 16 degrees of Virgo. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of these eclipses coming up would actually activate that moon. And your moon is in the 10th house, which is the house of career and public standing. So that's for you, music. Um, So I'm just kind of curious. Let me look real quick where those eclipses are gonna happen. Um, any eclipse. Let's see. So, okay. We've got an eclipse coming up on September 7th of this year. And oh, look at this. Okay, this is cool. So put this date on your calendar, September 7th.
Okay.
Um, the sun will be at 15 degrees of Virgo. Your moon is at 16 degrees of Virgo. That's a clue to me that there's some sort of fated thing happening. Probably has to do with career in some way. Um, Mercury is going to be right there. Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury. Um, and it's going to be closely trying to your natal Virgo. So this is going to be a good thing. Um, Eclipses, this will be a full moon eclipse. Um, so there could be a big change, like whether it's like a change in management or circumstances or something quickly like leaving, but also likely to bring in new energy too, come September. So this you might not see it coming yet, but check back in with me in September and let me know what happens because you're gonna feel it. You're gonna know what it is. There will be no question.
The date is on my calendar, so I will follow up with you.
Okay, yeah, I'm curious. Because when I saw that, I was like, something's cooking. Don't know what it is yet, but it'll likely have to do with potentially your living situation, maybe at home too, because the moon will be in the fourth house for you. The fourth house in astrology is the house of home, and the physical place that we live, or even the place that we feel spiritually connected to as a home. So this could be a childhood home, even if you don't live there currently. Um, but I think that this is something that is somewhat fated. It's going to feel like it's supposed to happen. And it's probably likely to happen pretty quickly around that time too. But it'll be a good thing eventually. Like in hindsight, at least it'll be a good thing. It might be like, whoa, out of the blue in the moment.
Mhm. Yeah.
But that's kind of how astrology works. It's like we can look at things and sort of get a sense of the energies and the moods unfolding, but we don't know, and we kind of get bullet points, right? But until they actually unfold and happen, we don't always like know exactly what that is going to look like because the future is unwritten and people have free will. So, you know, the stars can say one thing. The energy is it suggests that something is likely, right? Not that something will happen. But what's likely to happen is we say these things are likely to happen because astrologers and people who have been watching the sky for thousands of years at this point, they've been watching what happens when planets do specific things. And so we have thousands of years of data to kind of look at and reference and say, well, historically, when these kinds of things happen to people, um, based on the positions of the planets, then we see these things unfold in somebody's life. Um, and so it can be a really useful tool just for planning purposes, forecasting. Like you are a touring musician, so you probably don't want to tour when Mercury is retrograde, for example. It might make touring more difficult, just in terms of getting physically from place to place. There could be more like transportation issues or technical glitches at venues or communication issues with bookers, etc. It might be a better time to stay home and write, like look back at
Yeah.
some of those things that you have in your notes app.
So when would that be again? Mercury retrograde. Sorry.
So Mercury goes retrograde about 3 or 4 times a year. And I mean, if you follow any astrologer, I mean, I always put it out in my newsletters and stuff like Mercury retrograde is upon us. You want to back up your hard drives. You kind of want to not have to sign any contracts during Mercury retrograde, because it tends to undo whatever is whatever is being done during the course of retrograde. And that kind of goes for every planet during its retrograde cycle. It's reviewing and revising things that it might have rushed over initially. So in the moment, it's frustrating because you probably are like, oh, I really need to get this thing done and dusted. But throughout the course of a retrograde cycle, there could be new facts or new information or developments that change uh,
Yeah.
circumstances, you know? So let me see, when is it's happening? The next one is happening soon. Let's see.
It'd be July.
It's yep. It turns retrograde July 18th, at 15 degrees Leo, which is in your ninth house. So that's long distance travel. And then it goes direct again August 11th, which is really close to that uh September. I mean, it's a month away from that September eclipse that could kind of affect you. I think it will affect you. This is too close to your sun, the sun is too close to your moon for it to not have anything happening. Um, Eclipses are kind of like wild cards. So I think stuff September is going to be a big month for you. But yeah, August, um, yeah, July 18th to the first week and a half of August, August 11th will be our next retrograde period, and it's most likely to affect Leos. Leos and Aquarius folks, which you are an Aquarius sun. So, are you touring a lot in July, like that last half of July?
Uh, I'm going to California coming up, but I think that doesn't, I think it's mid-July.
Okay. Um, yeah, this is July 18th, so that's kind of mid-July. Um,
Yeah.
but just double check your usually, let me see, I can calculate the chart for when it goes retrograde. Um, and it's
Wow, I'm in California July 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th.
okay. Um, I would say getting out of California might be more difficult than getting there. I was in LA when the last Mercury retrograde happened and I was flying home to Atlanta, and it I went to LAX like 4 or 5 hours before my flight took off, and we barely like everything happened, we didn't miss the flight or anything like that, but it was just like every single thing that could be slow and annoying was as slow and as annoying as possible. Like it was comedic. Like I was looking at my friend being like,
Yeah.
this is Mercury retrograde happening right now.
I feel like Mercury retrograde and LAX, two bad combinations.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Like I every like the from we even made it back to Atlanta early, but like the plane landed early, but then we had to sit on the tarmac for 2 hours because they didn't have a gate for us to go to. Like
Crazy.
and so like and then the luggage like um carousel where it comes out broke like and then our taxi driver almost got into a fight with another taxi driver, and it was like not just LAX, it was also Atlanta. And my friend, by the time we got home, we were just like we were ready to drink and
Yeah.
just like scream a little bit because when you're traveling and you're at the airport and stuff, like you just have to be like on your like your best behavior more or less, unless you want to be on like a no-fly list or something for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So how can people find you and listen to your music? And I'd love to play, what song would you like people to hear? on this episode.
I would like you to play, I mean, whatever song you want to play. I trust your judgment. You have good taste in music. I would say Better Days, but you can pick one. Um, but you can find my music Zack Keim, Spotify, Apple Music, all over Amazon, on Instagram at Zack Keim, um, and hopefully um, everything with my astrology works out.
Oh, it will. I mean, you've been living with all of this stuff your whole life, and things
Yeah,
are already working out. So, uh, I think astrology is best used as a tool for self-reflection and just like that's why I do the podcast. Like it's for meditation purposes to be self-reflective, to help you accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, whatever those goals are. And it can just kind of give us a guide to address themes or issues we might be wrestling with internally, but also things like that are more practically based, like traveling and booking shows and stuff like that. For you specifically, I mean, you can kind of look ahead and be like, oh, well, this period of time, it'll be easier to get those goals accomplished versus, well, this period of time, like during Mercury retrograde, it's better to kind of sit still and maybe work on writing projects and revising things that I haven't gotten to really give my utmost attention to because I've been on the road, just as an example. But do you have anything you want to add or
no,
talk?
this was fascinating. I highly suggest everyone does this, and I think it's great. And I think your podcast is great. I've listened to a couple episodes, but it was so cool to finally see my chart in person because I never saw an in-depth chart like this before. And I think everything that you've gone over this past hour has been very insightful.
Oh, thank you. I'll send you, I have a whole, for all of my clients, and I do a written thing that explains what your natal chart is. And then I also pulled your personal transits for the whole year. So you can look back as far as January 1st and kind of read about, if there was stuff going on in your life back then that you just want to, maybe see the cosmic perspective of, you can look at it by date. And then, yeah, I put a graphic of your chart together. It will look a little different from this, but the written stuff will explain all of that. And so I do that for all of my clients. So if you've never had a session with me, you kind of know what to expect. But thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you again sometime in the future, whether it's a show or, just out there in the world being awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been delightful. It's been so cool meeting you, and thank you for helping me figure out my life through this chart because I feel like now I know everything about myself, I guess.
Well, I kind of felt like I ruined an interview for you and I kind of owed you one. But I'm happy to,
Yes, yes, we tried to do an interview in Atlanta with our buddy Randy, or
yeah, and it didn't quite work out as expected, I think, but and it's probably my fault. I'll take the blame. It's fine.
it's okay. Yeah, it was weird because I was playing Atlanta on Easter Sunday.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
probably not the brightest idea, probably to book a show on Easter Sunday, but maybe I should have, I would have, I would have had some insight if I saw this chart before. I would have booked that show, maybe.
Or maybe you were meant
Or
to, even though
meant to. Yeah. Who
like,
knows?
hindsight's 2020, but astrology gives you at least some bullet points for the future, like things
Yeah.
to consider and to kind of plan for and be aware of. Um,
Yeah, it was still a fun show though. It was fun. Easter.
yeah,
Easter show. Yeah.
I will never forget you. Like, what was it, like Easter bunny balloons or something that were,
Yeah, we had a hard time drawing people into the venue, so we had to break out the Easter bunny
yeah,
to
you were
to
like accosting people on the street walking by with the Easter bunny balloons. It was pretty
there
adorable.
was an Easter bunny balloon that I took outside and was trying to convince people to come inside, and I got maybe two people inside.
I would say that's a pretty high percentage of people who just happen to be stumbling by the star bar and little 5 points on a random Easter Sunday. So I mean, if you're looking at success in terms of percentages, 2 people is pretty great.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, this has been delightful. Thank you so much. And
Thank you
yeah,
so much for being with us on the show. And for all the listeners out there, this is Better Days by Zack Keim playing us out. Until next time, I wish you all the best the stars have to offer.
Sitting in a chair, flavor down the seat. Waitress outside that I wanna meet. Smoking in my mind, it just won't let me feel. Some meter outside that I didn't pay. Chip in my tooth, it's something to say. Every little thing coming down on me today. I remember the better days, long before I lost my way. Just to find the things I'll find out anyway. I recall that wicked step I took when we first met. Now I'm longing for the things I should regret. Around 1 o'clock and my coffee's cold. Keep filling me up, but I've been told I'm too young to feel this old. Waitress walked in right through the door. Asked me what I've been waiting for. I said nothing anymore. I remember the better days, long before I lost my way. Just to find the things I'll find out anyway. I recall that wicked step I took when we first met. Now I'm longing for the things I should regret. Palm trees popping in the parking lot. Where I'm going I should know, 'cause where I'm going can't follow me at all. I'm walking in my old ball cap, just something to remind me that I'm too young to feel this old. I remember